My name is Bob Daly. I'm the president of the Freedom Boat Club. Freedom Boat Club is the alternative to boat ownership. It was founded back in 1989 as that alternative. We feel that when you go boating, you can either take your own boat out, you can borrow a friend's boat, you can rent a boat, or you can join the Freedom Boat Club. And when you join the Freedom Boat Club, the neat thing about joining the Freedom Boat Club is that it's totally headache and hassle-free. You pay for all the maintenance, all the insurance, we pay for slip fees, we pay for dockage and storage. You don't have to worry about any of those things. You pay a one-time entry fee, and then beginning about a year later, depending upon our specials we have at different times, you'll pay a very low monthly fee that ranges from $149 a month to $199 a month. And every time you pay that fee, you get another 30 days worth of unlimited boat usage with the Freedom Boat Club. How do you get a boat? Once you join the Freedom Boat Club and we put you through a really good, intensive 4-hour boat training program, hands-on. We spend about an hour at the desk at the area of the location that you'd be doing most of your boating. And then we take you out, and for 3 hours we teach you how to dock, how to read the markers, what we call the rules of the road, how to navigate a boat. And every boat handles a little bit differently. Every type of water is just a little bit different. But by the time we're done with you, after that 4 hours, you will be, number one, you'll feel safe whenever you take one of our boats out. And when you feel safe, you feel happy. That's how it works. I think the big attraction to boating Venice is two things. Because of the Venice jetties, the wonderful, wonderful Venice jetties, okay? And there's two things I think that attract people to Venice. All you have to do is drive down Main Street. You drive down Main Street and you're sold. That's the first thing. And I think the second thing is you keep driving down Main Street till it dead ends and you make a right, and then you make another left, and you come to the gorgeous, absolute, beautiful, hardened, which I wish they do at Midnight Pass, Venice jetties, and you get to go right out to the Gulf. I think the easy access to the Gulf from a boating standpoint is probably one of the biggest selling points in Venice. The fact that you can do offshore fishing very easily and offshore exploring very easily in Venice, where you really can't do that quite as easily in Sarasota because New Pass is always filling in. It's not a hardened area, so the sand is always filling in. Stump Pass is being dredged about every 2 or 3 years, but the good old Venice jetties keep on hanging on. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. I think that's probably the biggest attraction. When you take this boat up and down the Intracoastal, which we're about to do, you have one feeling, but as soon as you go out the jetties, there's a little slight feeling of insecurity that runs through you, but it's an exciting thing, okay? It's an exciting thing. So if you want to go out to the Venice jetties and drive south and come in through Stump Pass, you can do that and do what we call the Great Circle, little tiny circle actually, and then come all the way back up to Venice. I think the things that attract me about Venice are the beautiful houses here along Laguna. Looking at all these ritzy houses, and I start lathering when I look at them, wishing that they were mine on the water. I think it's that. I think it's the neat type of fishing that you have here, and it's the waterfront restaurants. Probably 80% of our members are just explorer type boaters. They're not, 20% are probably fishermen, but about 80% are like me. They like to go up and down the Intracoastal Waterway. They like to scoot out briefly to the Gulf and drive up to the house that everybody thinks was Oprah Winfrey's years ago, but it actually wasn't. It's actually the guy that invented the 6-pack holder. He invented the little plastic thing that around 6-packs. Anyway, that's another story. There's just so much to see here. Beautiful Donna Bay at high tide, not at low tide. Roberts Bay, where you can do water skiing and things. I mean, Venice has so much going for it. Shark tooth diving. You hop in one of our boats, okay, and make sure, as long as somebody is sitting up in the boat, you take your scuba dive, which I'm a scuba diver occasionally, and you jump off the boat, you go down into the water, and where else could you possibly find shark's teeth than at Venice? It is the capital of shark's tooth finding all over the place. I mean, that's, when I first went diving, that's all I did was look for shark's teeth. I think the biggest one I found was about this big, but we have some members we have one guy come back with a shark's tooth this size.
We also do a lot of charity work where we will sponsor let's see here, the Women's Resource Center. We sponsor with them. Big Brothers Big Sisters. We do a lot of sponsorship with them. The local Chamber of Commerce, local networking groups. We get involved with the Rotary, Sertoma. We just sponsored a local softball team. So we definitely get our name known out in Freedom Boat Club. We've actually been in Venice for 15 years, and has been hugely successful in Venice. About 3 years ago, I guess one of my main goals is when they hired me is I wanted to make sure that everybody in Venice heard of Freedom Boat Club.
We are approaching. We have a wonderful Crow's Nest restaurant on our left, and we are approaching Venice, the Venice jetties right now, dead ahead of the boat. To the right is the southern tip of beautiful Casey Key Island. So we got the Venice jetties dead ahead of us. We have Crow's Nest on the left. We have the southern tip of beautiful Casey Key Island on the right, and really the northern tip of the Venice jetties is on our left. So we're coming up to that. We've got the little hot dog stand on the Venice jetties, which is absolutely wonderful, by the way. And good old fish camp. Anyone who hasn't been to the fish camp, now that's really Casey Key, but the fish camp is really it's really a neat local color place to go. It's been there for, I think, 40 years. And when you go inside of it and you sit in one of the church pews that they have there for seats, you'll realize that it has been there for about 40 years. But it's a wonderful place, good food, good quick little food, and you don't have to get dressed up in a tuxedo to go in there, by the way. A neat place. But we're heading out to the Gulf. It looks like it's relatively calm. There's a little tiny boat in front of us, and so if he can go out in the Gulf, I'm sure we can in this boat.
So boating around Venice, what type of wildlife do you usually get to see?
You'll see dolphins virtually every time you go boating. You will, if you're lucky, you'll see manatees. They're a little bit rarer than dolphins. This time of the year, you get to see manatees quite often. Pelicans, green herons, snowy egrets, the roseate spoonbill, which is the kind of you'll see when you see a white bird with pink wings. It's the Florida roseate spoonbill, kind of rare, and they're just absolutely gorgeous. Osprey picking up fish. You see an osprey swoop down and grab the fish with its talons and then fly off, and the poor little fish is always swimming, switching back and forth as it's being carried off, and I'm always rooting for the fish, but as my wife says, there's lots of fish. So, and then of course, if you're lucky, you'll get to see on a clear water day, you'll see snook in the water. You can see all different kinds of fish. Places I like to go south underneath the Venice, the North Venice Bridge, and then under the Venice Avenue Bridge, and then eventually to the South Bridge, or they call it the Surface Bridge now. I think that's probably my favorite place, only because there's very few boaters. There's not a lot of boat traffic, and then you're eventually just south of there. You're eventually